Hey y'all, today we're going to talk about homeschooling with a chronic illness. I'm going to share 5 tips with y'all. Hopefully these tips will help you. This is a collab, so quite a few of us mamas are going to be sharing about this topic. Let's get into it. Alright y'all, first of all, welcome back to the channel. I'm so glad you're here, and if you are new, welcome. My name's Kaela. I am a second generation, secular-ish homeschool mama to 2 girls age 7 and 4. This is Ode to Abode. I love to talk about home education, homemaking, and parenthood, and share lots of fun resources and books along the way. If that sounds like something you're into, please click that subscribe button. Don't forget to click the notifications bell so you'll be one of the first to know when I make a new video. All right, so as I said in the intro, this is a collab that I am actually hosting, and I have a few of my friends that are going to be sharing on this same topic of homeschooling while you have a chronic illness. So make sure you go check out the playlist link in the description box and watch all of my friends' videos so that you can see all of the different perspectives and helpful tips that we will be sharing with you. So if you clicked this video, there's a pretty good chance that you might be homeschooling or thinking of homeschooling and also living with a chronic illness. And the first thing that I want to say to you is you are not alone. There are so many of us who are living that life, and I am one of them. I don't talk too much about my illness on social media. My channel is not a health channel, and I don't really feel super comfortable sharing a whole lot of information about chronic health issues. I have zero experience in the field of health or medicine or wellness. So that's why I don't really talk about it all that much. But just in case you're curious, I have a chronic respiratory inflammatory disease called AERD. And that is an acronym, of course, for aspirin exacerbated respiratory disease. Some of the symptoms that I experience from my AERD, pretty life-altering and sometimes dangerous extreme asthma. I also have a lot of immune responses to different medications, and I'm also just very sensitive to air conditions. So on days where there's a lot of dust or pollen or smog, that can really make my symptoms a lot worse. I'm sure that that's true for most people with respiratory illnesses and asthma. You might also have noticed one of my symptoms if you've been watching my videos. You might notice that I often sound very congested. You might even think, I wonder if she has a cold. I am congested 99% of the time. This has caused me to lose my sense of smell. Most of the time I cannot smell. I get really excited when I can smell because it is a rare treat. Because of the loss of sense of smell, that also affects my sense of taste. And it also can just cause some slightly dangerous situations, especially as a stay-at-home mom. I can't always smell when something is burning, or if I left the stove on, or if there's, a really foul mess in the house. I can't always detect it on my own. Usually I have to rely on my children or my husband to kind of alert me, hey, there's a smell, something's going on. My illness also causes just a lot of ear, nose, throat issues. I do tend to be very prone to respiratory infections, ear infections, sinus infections, the symptoms that come along with those things like dizziness, headaches. And because this illness is causing an immune response from my body that is not normal, and it's happening all the time, that can also cause fatigue and extreme tiredness and just a general feeling of being unwell or worn out. I know so many mamas who have all sorts of different chronic health issues. Some of them are very dangerous, scary, possibly life-threatening. Others are, maybe less dangerous and scary, but still really difficult to live with. So it doesn't really matter where you may fall in that spectrum. The fact is that being a parent is a challenge. Being a homeschool parent, it's a challenge. It's hard work. I share a lot of the joys of home education on my channel and on my social media. And I genuinely love homeschooling. I love being home with my kids, but there are also challenges and there are difficulties, just like with anything else. And having a chronic illness or chronic health problems just kind of adds to that and can amplify the difficulties more. And it can definitely add to your amount of hard days or challenging days. So today I am going to share 5 tips with y'all. 5 tips that I personally feel are very important if you are trying to homeschool your children while living with chronic illness or chronic health problems. Hopefully these tips will help you. So the first tip that I have for you, and what I feel personally is the most important one, is train your children to be able to deal with emergencies. Whether we have a chronic illness or not, I personally think it's a good idea to train children, even from a young age, and teach them how to deal with an emergency situation at home. This is going to look different for every family. It's going to look different based on what type of illness or health problem you may have. And it's also going to look different based on the age and competency and skill level of your child. But for us personally, I will tell you what that has looked like. If I'm having an asthma attack that is extreme, sometimes that can come on rapidly and unexpectedly. So I might need help very quickly. I might be home alone with my children when that happens. It's important for them to know where my medication is, where my nebulizer machine is, how to get it and set it up and plug it in and bring it to me so that I can use it. And also how to call 911 on my phone. I know that sometimes as parents, we don't really want our kids to have access to our phones, but for me, I really need my kids to be able to access my phone in an emergency. So my children know the passcode to unlock my phone, and they know how to call 911. My oldest daughter also has our home address and her father's phone number written down in a safe place, so that if she needs to call 911, she is able to give them our address. And if she needs to call daddy for help, she is able to do that as well without having to go through my contacts or ask me how to access phone numbers on my phone. Again, this might look different for your family, and that's okay. It's just a good idea to talk about it and have some kind of plan in place. But it's definitely my number 1 tip because I feel like it's super, super important. The second tip that I have for you is to be realistic. If you're dealing with a chronic illness, you have to be prepared for the bad days. It can be really easy for us to get idealistic, especially when we're watching families on YouTube or homeschool mamas on Instagram, and we see like this beautiful image of what homeschooling can look like. And we might start to conflate that with what homeschooling should be all the time. But you have to be realistic about your circumstances. Prepare in advance for those days where things aren't going to go right or look perfect, and be okay with that. One thing that you can do to prepare for hard days is have independent activities or independent lessons already prepared for your kids, so that if you're feeling really bad or you're sick in bed, your kid has something that they can go and find and grab easily and that they can do themselves with relatively little risk or mess. So maybe for a younger child, that might look like a low shelf of Montessori toys or puzzles, or paper and crayons for drawing, or some picture books or board books that they can look at by themselves. For slightly older children, it might look like having some workbooks or worksheets already prepped and ready to go for them to be able to do independently. Maybe they have their own folder or binder for the week that they are in charge of and that they can easily default to if you can't participate in their lessons actively. This could also look like a lot of independent work in your homeschool on a regular basis. Maybe your circumstances just don't allow you to have a lot of teacher-intensive lessons with your kids. That could be for a variety of reasons. And so you can outsource. You can outsource to, online resources or curriculum for your kids to do by themselves. There's lots of programs that even have teachers and tutors and guidance through lessons online. You might also get, a learning app on your iPad or on your phone that can allow your child, even a very young child, to have some independent learning while you are resting or not feeling well. For me personally, I just feel a lot better about taking time to rest if I know that my kids are still able to be somewhat productive and even learn something without me. It's not ideal for me. I prefer to be very hands-on and involved in their homeschooling, but for those days where I physically cannot do that, I like having something prepared for them. My third tip that kind of goes along with that second tip is to lose your vision of what you think homeschooling has to look like. So maybe you're envisioning everyone around a table doing lessons together, or everyone, doing a nature walk every day, or all of these other really lovely things that we see on social media in the homeschool community. But you know what, Mama? If you're not feeling well and you just really need to get those math lessons done, or you just need to do something because you're worried that you're falling behind, or whatever the case may be, right? Homeschooling can happen literally anywhere. You can do lessons with your kids in your bed. You can do lessons with your kids on your couch. One thing that I really love is we have all of our main curriculum and resources that we are using on our handy dandy cart from IKEA. And I can literally roll that thing anywhere in my house that I need to be. So if I can't get out of bed and I feel really just lousy, but I know that I still need to help my kids with some lessons that day, I can roll that cart into my bedroom, and guess what? We're doing school in mommy's comfy bed. The kids actually really like it, and I get to relax a little bit. My fourth tip might seem obvious, but I still felt it was worth noting, and that is take care of yourself. Now again, this is going to look different for everyone. Some of us, when we find out that we're dealing with a chronic illness, we really go all in to try to live as healthy as we possibly can and try to make things easier for ourselves on that end. So you might put a lot of time into what you eat or exercise or the products that you use in your home, because you have done the research and you really feel like all of these little choices are going to add up and help to improve your overall health. On the other hand, you might not decide to do that, or the illness that you have might not really be affected by some of those changes, and that's okay too. Taking care of yourself is going to look a little different for everyone, but there are some general good rules of thumb for all of us, right? Make sure you're drinking enough water, try to get enough sleep, try to eat a balanced diet, and try to avoid things that might trigger your symptoms or make you feel worse. In addition to that, make sure that you are scheduling in some time, even if it's 10 minutes a week. Schedule in some time for self-care. And again, that's going to look different for everyone. Maybe that means, taking vitamins or supplements every day. Maybe that means making sure that you get a workout in on a regular basis. Maybe you get 10 minutes to have, a glass of wine by yourself, or you give yourself a spa day. Maybe you get a solo trip to Target. Make sure that you're doing something for yourself. It's so easy to give and give and give to everyone else and put everyone else first. And that's a good thing. It's a good thing to serve others. But we have to make sure that we're also taking care of ourselves. Because if we don't, we're going to be completely empty with nothing else to give. So take care of yourself. Physically, mentally, emotionally, make yourself somewhat of a priority if at all possible. Schedule it in, write it down, put a reminder on your phone, tell your husband or spouse or partner, hey, this is really important. Can you help me make sure that I do this? My last tip, so number 5, is ask for help. Now, I know that's easier said than done, and it's a privilege when you can do it because not everyone can. Maybe that means that you have family or friends close by and you reach out when you need help with someone to watch your kids, or you need help getting to an appointment, or you need help cleaning your house, or anything like that. I really hope that you have someone in your life that can offer that help and assistance. But if you don't, if you live very isolated from loved ones, asking for help doesn't always necessarily mean reaching out to someone who's outside of your family group. Sometimes that can mean just being realistic and honest with our children and our partners and saying, like, look, this is all that's on my plate. I'm happy to do this for the family. I love serving my family, but I'm also not feeling well. I could really use some help. I could really use help occasionally or maybe all the time with these specific tasks. For me personally, I have a lot of expectations on my girls as far as things that they do around the house. I expect them to do chores. I expect them to do their own laundry. I expect them to help me with all sorts of household tasks if and when I ask for that help. And because they know how to do those things, because I have trained them and practiced with them, they are fully capable of helping out with that. And that is a huge relief, right? Because if I'm not feeling well, I know that I can ask my daughter, hey, I just need you to go wipe down the bathroom. I just need the bathroom wiped down. And is it going to be as thorough of a clean as if I did it? No. But I can let that go for that day, that week, and trust that it's going to get done to an acceptable degree. You do not have to do it all. I know that that's something that we say and we see all the time. We see it in the media and on social media and even here on YouTube. Get it all done. Do all the things. There's videos like watch me do it all or help me do it all. Personally, that culture just really bothers me because I feel like no one person can or should do it all. If you are a homeschooling parent, you're already balancing all of these different roles and jobs that would normally be divvied up between more than one person. And then on top of that, you have a chronic illness or health problems. You have to be realistic with yourself. You can't expect that you will do it all. It's just not fair to expect that of yourself. Ask for help. Be honest with your family, the ones living with you, and also extended family and friends who are close by. If someone says, hey, I would like to help, what can I do? Don't dismiss that. Welcome the help. I feel like we all need it if we're really honest with ourselves. All right, so those are my 5 tips. I really hope that this was encouraging. I would love to hear if you have any more tips for being a mama, being a homeschool mama, being a homeschool mama with chronic health problems. Let me know in the comments. I would love to get to know you guys better, and I'd love to start this dialogue. Don't forget to check out the other videos in this collab playlist. If you enjoyed this video or found it helpful, encouraging, entertaining, please give it a big thumbs up. Tell your friends about us. I'll see you guys in the next video. Happy homeschooling.